Welcome back to We Love This Book. Today we are very excited to be here at Faber with Siobhan Curham, who is the author of True Face. First of all, could you just tell me a little bit about the book?
Sure, yeah. So True Face basically is designed to help women and girls dream boldly, love fearlessly and live authentically. That's the kind of the True Face ethos. I wrote it because I was sort of acutely aware of the pressure that's on us at the moment to fake it in some way. Mm-hmm. So the obvious thing would be the images we're bombarded by, by the media and the fashion industry to look perfect all the time, and often these images, of course, have been airbrushed, so they're not even real. But also, I know from my own experience and from many people around me that sometimes things can happen to us that hurt us and make us lose confidence and make us want to hide our true self away. I wrote the book to help people overcome any of these things, any of these reasons why they might be, sort of too afraid to show their true self to the world.
So was there a moment where you sort of thought, all this stuff I've been thinking about, this could be a book?
One night I was at home and something had happened. I can't even remember what it was, but I sort of had one of those moments, and I guess probably everyone, I don't know if you have, but when you're online and you're watching someone update on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and you just become aware that there's all this pressure. That's another thing actually, the online world, the pressure to sort of fake it in the online world. And so I wrote this little mini poem, which I'll try and remember. It's very short, so I should remember it. It's on the back of the book, yeah. Can I see it? Because I know I'm being filmed, so I'll get it wrong. So it's, don't show me your tweet face or your text speak. Show me your true face and let your heart speak. And so I put that on Facebook, and it got so many likes and people just commenting saying, yeah, that's right. I think that was the first thing. I thought, oh, okay, clearly I'm not the only person that feels like this. I was on Twitter a couple of days after the poem, and I saw Leah Thaxton from Faber tweeted saying that she was thinking of non-fiction titles for young people, and I think actually she said children. But something in me, it was really weird because normally I'm not like this, but I just quickly tweeted saying I have an idea, but for young adults, so she messaged me back and said, I'd love to see it, send me the synopsis. It just goes to show that opportunities are out there, and it's a great example, I think, of not letting fear hold you back, because I could have, and I talk about this in the book, your inner voice of doom or your inner voice of fear, that the voice that says to you, oh, don't even bother trying to do that because you're not good enough, or and although I had that little voice in my head when I saw her tweet saying, don't be silly, I did it anyway, and look at what's happened, now we have a book. So yes, it's a good example of that.
And you mentioned that it's sort of for sort of young adults.
Yeah.
Although when I was reading it, there's a lot that I sort of really found to be quite universal, and I was wondering who you kind of see as the audience.
I definitely wrote it for both, as a crossover, and these issues are just as relevant to older women as they are to teenage girls. So, because I can remember when I was a teenage girl thinking that that older women, they had it all sussed and they knew, and it felt really, I felt really insecure as a teenage girl because I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and I felt out of my depths a lot. And so I think it's probably, it would be really good for women and girls to come together and to realise that actually we're all affected by these issues, and we should all, kind of band together.
Obviously this is non-fiction, and you normally write novels. So I was wondering kind of the different sort of writing experience. Did you find that you kind of took to it quite easily, or? Yeah,
I think because I've been writing a blog for a while now, that helped, and the blog, it's about these kind of things, so that definitely helped. But it is a completely different type of writing. In the end, I just imagined a target reader, a woman or a girl, just sat literally, like if I was on my desk here, just sat there, and what would I say to them if I was just speaking, and so I tried to write in my actual speaking voice.
And did you speak to sort of real women? Did you speak to teenagers and about their experiences?
Yeah, and there are a lot in the book actually. Also with the website that I've set up for True Face, is that so many girls and women want to talk about this. I got these emails from people that were so honest, you know, talking about their own experiences. There's one in particular from a teenage girl called Sophie, talking about the pressure on her to look a certain way, you know, so this is something I'm sure we can all relate to, but, you know, she talks so movingly about the fact that, you know, feeling really awful because she's not a size 6. And feeling overweight because she's a size 12, which is crazy, you know, but this is the problem that we've got nowadays. We need people to start being honest, and there's so much pressure on us to try and be all perfect and you know, sort of have this online presence where it looks as if our world and our life is absolutely perfect. But actually, you know, no one has a life like that, and so the more honest we are, the better I think it will be, because the better everyone will feel, because then they'll feel, oh, I'm not the only one that has these insecurities, or whatever, you know.
And you mentioned your website, so how did that come about?
I guess, really, I started hearing statistics like, for example, 28,000 young people were hospitalised last year for self-harming. And the number of young people suffering from things like anxiety, depression, eating disorders has doubled in the last 4 years in the UK. And I thought, this is a really big problem. I guess I had this sort of dream of it being somewhere where teenage girls and older women, you know, both wrote for the site and you know, could both, you know, all come to the site to learn from each other and inspire each other and encourage each other. It's my way of trying to make True Face something that can belong to everyone. So it's not just my book anymore, you know, it's a thing. And so I've got on the site, you know, True Face ambassadors, so girls that can just go into their school and you know, and kind of spread the whole True Face ethos. And so there are lots of resources on the site for them that they can download. I just did a little tweet about it, and I just got so many retweets and so many teenage girls contacting me that first night just saying, I want to write for the site, and there's been some really powerful guest posts on there.
Yeah. And we've talked about obviously the pressures that we have, and a lot of that comes from kind of the media, and I was wondering if there was people that you kind of feel like are positive role models that are kind of well-known people.
So the first one off the top of my head, I guess, would be Emma Watson. Yeah, I just think she's such a great example, because obviously, I mean, everyone knows she kind of shot to fame as an actress in Harry Potter movies, but she's such a good example of a young woman who's kind of just seizing every opportunity and seems to be, I mean, I don't know her personally, but very much living life on her terms, you know. So she sort of achieved this incredible fame and success at a very early age, but then went to university to study English, you know. So I thought that was great, because clearly that was something that she, you know, that really meant a lot to her, and that she wanted to do, and she sort of resisted the pressure to just keep earning money from acting and to do that for herself, I guess, which I thought was brilliant. And then also, of course, her work for the UN as a UN ambassador. And I think, you know, there are so many great examples of women at the moment who are kind of, I don't know, they're sort of trailblazing, and they're, you know, they're sort of forging really great careers, but also campaigning for issues that mean something to them personally, you know, which I think is really inspirational. I featured somebody on the website called Rosalind Janer.
Oh,
do you know of her? Yeah. So I thought she was brilliant. She's 19 years old. She's got a great blog called Clothes, Cameras, Coffee. Where, you know, so she models, but also she writes these brilliant and really articulate blog posts, you know, about issues that women face. And she has a book coming out next year, you know, at the age of 19. I think this is fantastic, you know, and she's another great example of what's possible. I also think, I mean, these people aren't famous or well known, but I think they are very inspirational, the YA book bloggers, because you've got loads of teenage girls who've set up these book blogs, and they do so much to help, you know, the sort of YA book world. I think they're a really integral part. But often they're 14, 15 years of age, and they have these amazing websites and you know, huge following, and it's all about the passion. This is something to talk about in True Face, you know, the importance of following your passion and your true calling, and doing the things that you really want to do rather than things you feel you ought to do.
Do you have any favourite book blogs?
Book blogs?
Yeah.
Yes. I love The Mile Long Bookshelf, Amber. Yeah. Also Sophie Louise, a Daydream as well.
Okay.
Teen Book Hoots, Georgia, that does Teen Book Hoots. So many. Charlie also, who features in the book. Hawa, you know, there's about 3 of them actually that feature in the book. I feel so grateful to them for, you know, the support they've given me over the years. I'm sorry if I've left anyone out, because there are loads I love.
So what's next for both True Face, and then what else are you working on that's not necessarily True Face?
Next for True Face, well, it comes out this Thursday. Of course, Thursday the 2nd, and so I've got some goodies that I'll be giving away on the site, you know, just to sort of celebrate the launch. So I've done a guided meditation, a sort of True Face meditation, that I'll be giving away for free, and some artwork. Some artist friends of mine have kind of created True Face style posters that people can just download for free. Also worksheets and, you know, things that can be used in conjunction with the books. So I've also got some great interviews coming up. Louise O'Neill, who just on the way record. So I've got an interview with her coming up in the next week or so, and Kathy Cassidy and some other fantastic writers are going to be, and I do this interview called Talking Truth, where I ask quite kind of probing questions, and so you really get to see the true face of these people, but it's interesting, you know, and they've all been so open and honest, which is great. So that's what's next for True Face, plus just giving talks and workshops, you know, on the whole True Face thing. And then non-True Face related, working on a book, but I'm not allowed to talk about it yet, but it's it will be, the news will be coming out soon. It kind of incorporates a lot of the True Face themes, so it feels great, because it feels like it's kind of, I'm still working in the same vein, but with fiction, you know, so that's so that's exciting.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us. If you've been inspired by Siobhan, we'd love to hear from you, and we'll put links to all of the websites that you've mentioned, as well as the True Face website down below. So remember to subscribe, and remember to check the We Love This Book website for more booky content.